Hey everybody, PCOcast here, back with more Everlasting Summer, and we are continuing along Ulyana's bad route, which means the next two things that we could do to improve our relationship with her, we have to actually do completely the opposite. So that's starting with grabbing Alyssa's arm roughly. I rudely grabbed Alyssa's wrist. What are you doing? The girl was really frightened. Who told the camp leader that Ulyana came to meet at night? I don't know. She pleaded piteously. We discussed it this morning, didn't we? Oh, that's all. Just one little line was the new bit. Interesting. Alright, we are on to day 7, man. And we are going to blame her. I pointed my finger at Ulyana. She looked at me strictly in turn. Nobody's accusing you of anything, said Slavia without looking at me. At least there's one sensible person among all present here. That's it. One tiny little gesture. Okay, not a big difference between those two parts of the route. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna pack my stuff too. She didn't reply, so I left the cabin. Well, looks like my last mission in this camp is complete. Ulyana's sentence was overturned after all. The only thing left for me to is to leave this place and get ready for something new. Swept my eyes around the room as I entered the camp leader's cabin. Do I have anything to pack anyway? I stuffed my winter clothes into a bag and took a seat on the bed. I was haunted by an agonizing feeling of incompleteness. Either deja vu or a feeling that I forgot something, but I still can't remember what it was exactly. When all's said and done, I haven't managed to find any answers here, and now I'll have to continue my quest elsewhere. Does it really matter how and why I came here if it's not possible to escape? And it seems that nothing's up to me anyway. Everything seemed simpler before. Sure, I had no major prospects, my perspectives were hardly mind-blowing, but at least everything was pretty much clear. Yet the week I've spent here has raised more issues than my whole previous life. Huh. Clock struck 5 o'clock. I took the bag and walked quickly to the bus stop, worried they might leave without me. Ulyana is not there. It appeared that the bus was already waiting there, as were all the pioneers. Everyone's here? Began Olga. You're leaving our camp today, and I'd like to tell you something in parting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. I hope that you'll remember the time you've spent here for a lifetime, and that you'll retain only pleasant memories about Sovyanok. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something and find new friends. Just come back next year. The camp leader turned around. It seemed she was trying to hold back tears. I didn't expect her to get so emotional. Although her speech sounded like complete nonsense, as usual. Pioneers slowly started to get on the bus. I ran an eye over the crowd looking for Ulyana. Where's Ulyana? She won't be going. The leader answered shortly. How? Why? She's grounded. But you said... She's at it again. What do you mean? Hey, get inside or they'll leave without you. Indeed, I was the last man standing outside. Wait a second. Move it. She nudged me under the bus. I decided not to argue. Here at the end, I can't be held responsible for her forever. Here we go again. If she's going to be so stubborn, then it's up to her to face the consequences. I took the last seat. There's no partner for me, which I was fine with at that moment. However, soon enough Alyssa moved to sit next to me. Where's Ulyana? Stayed. Why? Grounded. I gave one-word replies, showing no interest in conversation. Why? Dunno. And what, you haven't even tried to find out? Is it worth staying back for? You should. For what? If you want to stay, if you want, you can stay. We haven't gone far. Yeah. She said calmly and went off to her place. Slavia and Xenia were sitting in front seats, talking with enthusiasm about something. Lena, Miku, Shurik, Elektronik were sitting closer to me and playing cards. Alyssa and some other girl were looking through a magazine. Probably I was the only one who had nothing much to do. I caught myself thinking that I still felt a bit guilty about what happened to Ulyana. But what could I do? If I'd stayed together with her, I'd probably have missed my only chance to leave. And in my possession, playing some such games could prove fatal. And apart from that, enough is enough. Yet still, I couldn't stop thinking about her. That I'm at fault. That I've acted cowardly, done a bad thing. That anyone in my shoes would have... Why? Anyway, who is she to me that I need to take risks for her sake? It was even harder to answer this question. During the week I spent here, I got to know her and others quite well. In the end, I felt responsible for Ulyana in some way. But what's the point of thinking about it now? I'm leaving the Pioneer Camp. I'm heading into the unknown. Starting from this moment, I have to make all my decisions based on the assumption that this world is alien to me, and most probably hostile. And I have no one to rely on. Although thinking about it, such state of affairs isn't too new for me. I was always alone in the past. Sovionok has been left far behind me. Night has fallen on the strange world. It's so dark that it seemed the bus was floating across a bluish-black ocean, and only sometimes would gloomy forests and fields reaching to the horizon rise like waves from its surface. Anyway, the surroundings were the least of my concerns now. I was knee-deep in my reflection. Seems to me like I've left some unfinished business back at the camp, even though I can't go back there now. Bad things, good things, everything will be forgotten soon, leaving only the fact of my appearance here, the end of my old life and the beginning of a new one. Practically speaking, it's nothing fancy. Just an 80s pioneer camp that I have been beamed to from my own time. In any case, I'd rather worry about what's waiting for me at that town we're heading for. After all, I've got nowhere to return to. I have no home, no money, no friends or relatives. All these pioneers that I'll part ways with in a few hours, I won't see any of them ever again. And them? I don't think that they will remember me in a couple of years. Not a big deal for them. To them, I'm not the time traveler, but a common boy, their pioneer, or their peer. Blech. The road seemed endless. Most of the pioneers were long asleep, yet I was still fighting the urge to take a nap. It's always better to enter the unknown while remaining awake, though the unknown always has an edge in this battle. The flow of time that it is able to control as it sees fit. You wait a minute, an hour, but nothing happens. Your nerves, already strung out to their limits, finally surrender to the stress, and you just fall asleep. And wake up back in your apartment? It felt like I hadn't slept at all. It happens all the time. You just close your eyes and fall asleep. The hour hand makes several turns. The morning comes and you wake up, but it feels like you just blinked. Oh, okay, we already had all this. Oh, okay. So I carried on. I did end up, taking some of my experience and going back to school. It makes the fact that she had to stay behind even sadder. Of course, it's just a dream, a figment of my imagination. Although you still can worry about book and film characters, one laughs and cries with them and feels their pain. Same thing for me. Seems that if I'd acted differently, the story would have had an even more joyful, happy end. However, I'm sure that Ulyana's happy in that world. I just can't imagine her being upset for longer than 5 minutes. Her optimism will help her to find a way, even in the most difficult situations. I wonder what she will look like when she grows up. The bell rang. My classmate stood up and looked at me keenly. Okay, see ya. Can I crib notes from you later? If you'd been writing down your own during the lecture, you wouldn't need any. So can I? Okay, fine. Cheers! He smiled and left the lecture hall. Slowly, I packed all my exercise books and textbooks up into my backpack and looked around the empty hall. For a moment, I could almost smell the knowledge in the air, like sea salt in the air on the deck of a ship. Thousands and thousands of students came here to study, to learn something new or to forget something they used to know. Some slept through the lectures, some wrote them down attentively, just like me, but nobody was completely indifferent. Those who didn't care stayed home, pulled the curtains across the windows and fixed their eyes on a monitor. I sighed reluctantly and left the lecture hall with the firm intention of not wasting this day. So that's all that happens. Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its own outline, synopsis, contents, key points, a prologue, and an epilogue. And there's no book which, if you read it again, would not reveal new details you didn't notice before. Every story has its beginning and its end. Almost every... So, Ulyana, in the bad route, just doesn't join him in the real world. Interesting. Wonder what happened to her. It's kind of sad, really. I mean, like, what happened to her? I guess she never came... If she survived, she never came to school. Well, at least that's not a horrible ending like Lena's. But I didn't end up with my friend. That's sad. Right. Well, thanks very much for joining me for this route. And we will be moving on to probably gonna do Miku's next. Hope you will join me for that, and we will see you in the next episode.